All right, we have breaking news out of a high school in Appalachia, Georgia, in Winder, Georgia. There has been another school mass unaliving. Multiple casualties reported, including one teacher. We've heard this time and time again where a teacher tries to protect their students and it costs them their lives. There is a subject in custody. There's no information on how many people were unalived, what the details are. This just happened at 10:23 a.m. Georgia time. They're still going through the school. They're still investigating everything. I went into this live feed out of Georgia, and all I kept seeing were these MAGA saying, "Thanks, Joe and Kamala," and there's Joe's security at work. You people need to cut it out. This is a tragedy. There's no official news on what type of pew-pews were used, but I'm willing to bet it was something along the lines of an AR that you guys love so much. Now, here's the most disturbing problem. There's a number of Congress people, only Republican Congress and senators, that have replaced their American flag lapel pin with a NRA AR-15 pin. They replaced the American flag lapel pin with an AR. That is the weapon of choice in these situations. And the first thing you guys do is blame Joe Biden or Obama, but not the people who protect this particular type of pew-pew. Ladies and gentlemen, I've heard every excuse why that particular thing is the Second Amendment right. I'm protecting my home. I use it for hunting. If you need one of those for hunting, you're a real shitty shot and you shouldn't own a pew-pew of any sort. Because a hunter doesn't even need it. A true sportsman doesn't even need it. I understand to have fun at a range. Great. I've used them myself. I know how they feel. I know how they are. And they are kind of fun. But the bottom line is they are not supposed to be in homes across this country being able to be purchased by any 18-year-old with a freaking attitude problem. With no background check in many states. That should be illegal at best. And those of you who are blaming Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and Obama need to recognize it's your side of the aisle that proudly advertises where they stand. It's your side of the aisle that's in the back pocket of the MRA. It's your side of the aisle that doesn't do a damn thing except thoughts and prayers every time a tragedy like this happens. Kids are going to school and not coming home. And you blame Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Got to slide her in there too because she's beating the hell out of your Cheeto Von Schitzenpants God. The bottom line is this is your fault. Yours. Republicans. There's no reason for these weapons unless you're in the military, unless you're on the police force. Because when someone else gets their hands on these weapons and goes into, let's just say Uvalde, the response to end the problem is paused while all these innocent children were unalived because the person who's doing it had a more powerful firearm than the police. Get that through your head. I'm sick of the bullshit excuses for these particular weapons. If you need 100 shots to defend your home, you pissed off too many people in your life and you probably freaking deserve it. Enough with that. And you don't have a castle, you don't need it. And the excuse that if someone wants to get their hands on one, they can. Since when? Just drive into East LA and say, anyone got something? Yeah, see if that'll work there, Poindexter. Billy Bob, see if you'll get away with that. They'll take your money and leave you on a corner. I'm sick of the bullshit. I'm sick of innocent kids not being able to make it through a day of damn school because of your ignorance. Because right now, there are so many kids that are so mentally screwed up because they've had 2 years off of school because of COVID. They're socially messed in the head because they were taken out of society for 2 years. Thanks, Trump. They were taken out of socialization for 2 years. So there's more depression, there's more anger, there's more frustration in our kids these days than ever in history. And mom and dad who have those real fancy military weapons, don't bother locking them. Or the kids seem to showing it off because, it's cool for their red-hatted friends. How's this for a solution? You insist on those, make sure mental checks are done. Make sure background checks are done. Anyone who buys a pew-pew needs to be tested just like a damn driver's license. They need to be tested to make sure they're capable. They need to make sure that mentally they are fit to own one. Any pew-pew, they need to make sure they are mentally fit to own. And if there's any little smudge on the record anywhere, they'd lose that Second Amendment right. Because they deserve it. Because there's something saying they shouldn't have it. Blindly leaving an invitation open for any kid with cash or any kid with irresponsible pew-pew owner parents is just plain stupid. It's anti-American. And it's not about the Second Amendment. Anybody who has something like that and leaves it open for it to be used like in Sandy Hook, with 23, 24 children, innocent children, kindergartners, preschoolers, because this kid was a little messed in the head and had access to them. Those parents are responsible. A, you don't notice your kid's a little loopy and has some problems and you're not trying to fix it. B, you're leaving it available to them or their friends because you're too stupid to lock them up. You're not intelligent enough to own one. You should have your Second Amendment right taken away because you're not protecting them. You're not keeping them out of the hands of people who do stuff like this. Right now, another one in Georgia. Untold casualties. And they just got back to school after how many years of being out? So the bullies are extra angry, and the people being bullied are extra pissed too. And they happen to have irresponsible parents, or maybe they're friends with some 18-year-old who doesn't like those people too. And you're okay with that. You just blame the person in office now. As you wear your lapel pin, that's no longer the American flag. Your priorities are screwed up. Focus on what's important. We need to protect these kids. And nobody needs one of those particular rifles. Nobody. And if you do, and if that's an issue, there should be a lot of hoops to jump through to have them. And you need to sign yourself over to being responsible so the only hands they fall into you is yours. And you take responsibility to make sure they're not used in any way more than target practice. And by that, I don't mean kids or people. I mean targets. I don't care how red your hat is or how red your neck is. Grab both your ears and pull your head out of your ass. I'm done with this stuff. This isn't the way it's supposed to be. And we are the only country in this world with this problem. What does that tell you? There are more guns in this country than there are people. Because idiots with the lapel pins say so. It's not about Second Amendment. It's about stupidity. Get that right. Because I'm fine with my 5-shot 357. It can protect me with anything I need. And I'm a good enough shot that it'll be worth it. That's protecting your home. God bless the people in Georgia and the families affected by this. Stay diligent, stay educated, and be kind. We're all in this together. Enough is enough.